This may be the single best power station I've ever seen. If there's a sale on these, grab this thing up, because this is the unit that I think nearly everyone should own. Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we are going to talk about a brand new offering from BLUETTI. It is the Elite 200. You know, they've been in the 200 series for a while. This one is Elite, and in fact, it is Elite. This may be the single best power station I've ever seen. It's actually, you know, the numbers are pretty normal. It's 2,073 watt hours. It's got a big inverter. It's got a 2,600 watt inverter, which is plenty for almost anything you could ever want to use. And it will take 1,000 watts of solar, which is a little bit on the low side, but it's acceptable. And you can charge it off of the wall at 1,600 watts. So those are all really, really good numbers. And for some of you who want to use it as an uninterruptible power supply, UPS, it's 15 milliseconds. 10 is kind of the standard, but 15 is completely acceptable. Probably very few of my audience will ever push this thing. We won't have more than 1,000 watts. We probably are never going to need 2,600 watts total output. It's just, you know, it's everything that most of us nomads could ever want. I'll tell you this, right now, I love this thing. I love this thing. It's quiet, it's tiny, it's powerful. So far, I love everything about this. I don't believe you can connect an external battery, which might be a negative. In fact, I've never thought buying external batteries was a good idea. Usually you can buy a whole unit for the price of a battery. Just buy a second whole unit. But if there's a sale on these it's November when I'm shooting this. If there's a sale on these, grab this thing up, because it's going to be the winner. This is going to be the winner, I think. So some really big news from BLUETTI. I found out from them what the price is going to be on this new Elite 200 V2. And it's a screaming deal. And I think if I were in the market for a 2,000 watt hour battery station, this is what I would run down and buy right now off of Amazon. It's on sale. Its regular price is $19.88, something like that. $900 off coupon, and so you can get it now for $1,099. And that's just a hair tiny bit over 50 cents a watt, which is what you want to pay. The size of the thing, the capacities, the numbers, they all work, and it's very quiet. And it never bothers me. The fan is extremely quiet, and it runs really cool. So I've been very, very pleased with that. The capacity is good. It's just worked perfectly for me, and I highly recommend it. Now remember, to get it this small, it's a kind of a stripped down. There's not any extras at all. If you want bells and whistles and extras, then you should get something else. But if you're looking for the smallest, the quietest, just one of the cheapest power stations you can buy, you're in a small vehicle, this is the one. Without any doubt in my mind, this is the one to get. It's on sale for $10.99, $900 off coupon. When you go and look at it, it'll say $19.99, but then scroll down, there'll be a $900 off coupon, and man, this thing's a screaming deal. This is my number one recommendation of all the power stations I've ever tested. For most of us nomads, this is the one to get. If you're an RV, you need a bigger station, you need expandability, you need a bigger battery, then that's a whole nother story. But for us nomads in small spaces where quiet is really important, this is the one. Go ahead and get it. There have been two faults that I have really held against BLUETTI products. And the one is obvious here. They're huge. They're really big. And that they've completely solved with the Elite. It is very small. Now we'll compare it here to the EcoFlow Max. The EcoFlow, the thing I've loved about it most is that it's small. It is one of the smallest ones. And I've really liked that about it. But what I've hated about this thing is all the controls some of the controls are on this side and some of the controls are on this side. And I hate that. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. And I think the latest generation is starting to correct that. But of course, the BLUETTI doesn't have that problem. Virtually everything is right here. There is the AC on this side. That's no big deal. That's not a problem. But the BLUETTI, on the other hand, is huge. Now that's a good and a bad thing. If you're living in a car or a van or SUV, it's a really bad thing to have something this big. The very good thing about that is that heat is the #1 enemy of electronics, and simply having more space mean they didn't get as hot. And I think that meant they'd last longer. I don't have any evidence for that, but it's just common sense to me that this thing is so big and it's not super packed in there with electronics. There's more space for things to breathe. And the other thing that I really dislike about BLUETTI is they use weird connectors. I mean, I've owned over the years probably 5, 6, 7 different BLUETTI products, and I swear they all use a different weird connector. I lost a connector, I just misplaced it, and so I went through all my connectors from BLUETTI, and not a one of them worked. I had like 6 different weird connectors that wouldn't connect to anything else in the world, but I didn't have the one for this. And then I found it, and I was okay. But if you lose one of their weird connectors, boy, you are good luck. I mean, you can't find them on the BLUETTI website, and Amazon rarely has them, so you're just out of luck. I hate that about BLUETTI, the weird connectors. The Elite 200 has solved both of those problems. It's tiny. It's one of the tiniest 2,073 watt-hour generators. It still seems pretty light to me. I think it might be the lightest one here. It's pretty light, it's tiny, and it just uses a regular XT60. Not some weird connector, just a good old-fashioned XT60, which is becoming the #1 standard of everything. I'm delighted to have an XT60. Okay, well, that's all. I've blathered on enough. So far, I'm extremely, extremely, extremely impressed. This has moved, as of today, to the very top of the list. The very #1 unit you should buy. But I'll use it for a couple weeks, give you a final answer, and we'll see what I say then. I'll be right back after using this. I mean, as fast as you can do this. So, folks, here is the brand new Elite 200 V2 from BLUETTI. As you can see, it is sitting here in the floorboard, and there's plenty of room in here. I can get my hand in all the way down, and I can reach all the inputs and the outputs. I can turn the display on and off. Right now, you can see I have 173 watts of solar coming in off panel on the roof. I have 34 watts going out to my fridge, and 50, this bounces around a lot, between 50 and 20 watts going out to my Starlink. I've got 3 different USB ports plugged in, and over here, this is the actual plug-in for the Starlink Mini. It fits in this floorboard really well. It has never gotten hot in any way. You know, I've been checking it because that would be my concern, that we've packed in so much electronics into such a small space that it would get hot, but I have never seen it hot. I got to tell you that so far, I think this is one of the most incredible units I have ever seen. I think it is fantastic. Really, really, really good. It's right now, it's the #1 unit I've ever seen. They have given it some kind of new technology. It's LiFePO 4. All good power stations. Don't ever buy a power station that isn't LiFePO 4. But they're saying it will have 6,900 cycles, and I'm not sure how they've done that. They're also saying it has more protections and safety built in, so that it will last longer, and that's one of the ways they're getting the 6,900 cycles. I don't know how they're doing it. It does charge super fast, 1,600 watts. It's just really, really, man, if they had sent me this, but if they hadn't, I'd be buying one. I'll just tell you that right now. This is the unit that I think nearly everyone should own. The one drawback that I see is that you can't add an extra battery, but if you're in a car, van, SUV, you are not going to be adding an extra battery. You just can't, you don't have the room to put it in there. That's no big deal to me whatsoever. The fact that it has 273 watt hours, it takes 1,000 watts of solar, it has the 2,600 watt inverter. All of those things are the numbers I'm looking for, and it has them all in spades. It's just a excellent, excellent unit. It's worked super, super well for me. Of course, you can see I've got, it's kind of a cluster. I've got all the USB ports, because that's what I'm running, a lot of USB devices. That's what we're all running. I love this thing. It's easy to take in and out. There's no problem to fit it in and out of here. It just comes straight out. So if I want to carry a passenger, I pull it out, I put it in back. Just really, really, really good. Highly, highly recommended. Well, hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you on next video. See you then.